Hey everybody, it's me again, Scavenger. I'm back with another game called My Catgirl Maid. Thinks she runs the place. It looks like it could be good. It's another visual novel, I believe. But let's just jump into the game as always. See what's going on. All right, chapter 1, and it autos. Oh, whoa, okay. We're just starting out. All hot and bothered here. All right, let's see what's going on here. My eyes slowly peeled themselves open to the sight of a naked girl tiptoeing out of my room. She froze at the sight of me waking up, and I briefly looked at her before closing my eyes. Funny, I thought I went to bed alone last night. No. I had definitely gone to bed alone last night. So who the... I shot up into sitting position, and the girl froze again. Her tail twitching slowly, and her cat ears were on full alert. What the? We stared at each other for a moment before she cleared her throat and waved her hands around. This is all a dream. Go back to sleep, little human. I looked at her confused, and she blushed in embarrassment. You really thought that would work? No. Of course not. She had nothing. She just stood there trying to come up with an excuse, so it was probably best if I helped her out a little. Okay, let's start with who you are. Why are you here? What's up with the tail and the ears? And probably more concerning, why are you naked in my bedroom? Not going to take it easy on me, huh? Very well. You know that cat you saved? I slowly blinked at her, still groggy from my sleep. Cat? What Oh, yeah. I was coming home from work 3 days ago when I found a stray cat in an alley. She was really rough looking. I thought she had been hit by a car and left for dead. Thankfully, she was still breathing. I rushed her to a vet and he did what he could, but she still looked rough. I had brought her home to keep an eye on her, worried that she would die at any moment. She woke up soon after, but immediately hid from me. I read online that when cats were hurt and scared, they hid, so I let her have her space. I left out food whenever I went to work, and when I returned, it was always gone. I had hoped one day she would emerge again. Apparently, she had. She watched me slowly realize it, and she nodded and bowed. I want to thank you for taking care of me while I recovered. How? The short version is my true form, and our worlds have always been interconnected. We typically transform into a disguise when visiting here, not to cause problems, but this time, it's very rare that we reveal ourselves to humans, so you should consider yourself lucky. I looked her up and down. It was a very lucky sight to wake up to indeed. She crossed her arms over her body and frowned at me. Stop that. Sorry, I'm just impressed with how fast you recovered. That sounded convincing, right? Your doctor did a good job. We healed quickly to begin with, but it was really easy after that. Well, how'd you get hurt? She looked a little nervous. You looked like you were hit by a car. She perked up. Yes, that's it. I was hit by a car. I looked at her in disbelief, and she laughed nervously. I didn't know what they were called. For being hit by a car, she looked amazing. What was she that she healed so fast? As I continued to inspect her body, she shuffled uncomfortably from my gaze. My eyes settled on a few areas, particularly the ears and the tail. She looked like she was some sort of cat girl. Did she really change from that little cat I had found the other day, though? If you don't mind, I would really like to get changed into some clothes. It's getting a little cold. Yeah, I can tell. Oh, she covered her chest and frowned. I sighed and looked at the clock. I need to get ready for work soon or I'll be late. I wish I could call in, but I doubted my boss would accept my cat as a human now, as a valid reason. I quickly got dressed and hurried out of my room. She was standing absent-mindedly in the living room, clutching her hands in front of her nervously. I cleared my throat as she dropped her hands and turned her attention to me, bowing slightly. So, you probably have many questions. I'll answer as best as I can. Okay, who are you? I'm Cynthia just Cynthia. I looked at her questioningly. What? I guess she was a little nervous. It made sense considering the situation, but I still couldn't shake the feeling there was more to it. We're just gonna go ahead and see what happens next and move the story along. What do you mean? Well, there's a cat girl in my apartment this morning. Yesterday there wasn't. It kind of changes things, you know? Oh, if you're concerned about me being here, it's okay. I will leave shortly. What? Why? It wouldn't be proper for me to stay. After all, if it was found out I'm here, well, it would not end well for either of us. Okay, where are you gonna go then? She looked down and started to wring her hands nervously. She seemed to become so tiny, just like a frightened little lost kitten. My plan was to keep the cat. Anyways. I wasn't just gonna help you recover and then ship you off to the Humane Society. It's lonely around here. Alone. So she looked at me so warmly and with such a sweet smile that I had completely lost my train of thought, and the rest of my sentence became just a series of mumbling noises. I felt I was blushing hard and I turned away from her to try to hide it. But look, putting aside the fact that I discovered your true form and what it means for the people of your world and mine, if you have somewhere that you can go, then I won't stop you. I turned to face her again. But you don't have anywhere to go, do you? Her eyes drifted away from me and she remained quiet. Meaning, there's a very good chance I'll find you in an alley again after another accident. I have the feeling there's more to your story than you're telling me. Maybe you're doing it to protect me and maybe you're just trying to protect yourself, but until you have somewhere to go, why not stay here? You'll be safe at least. She opened her mouth like she was about to say something but stopped herself, sighing instead. Turning away from me, then started to pace around the living room, trying not to trip over the mess skewed across the floor. I owe you so much for helping me already. I simply couldn't ask that of you. Oh, you're not asking, I'm offering. She shook her head, deep in thought. Was she really putting this much work into finding a reason to turn me down? I felt silly for asking her to stay now. I'm not some freeloader who could just simply stay here without giving something back. I perked up a bit as she looked around the apartment. Suddenly, she looked like she had an idea and smiled. You could employ me? Yes, that's perfect. She returned to me enthusiastically. I will earn my keep as your maid. I was, a maid in my world before leaving. I assure you I will do a fantastic job in service to you. What? No, there's no need. If I were to stay, I would not simply grow fat and lazy lounging on your couch. I was always taught to take responsibility and repay my debts. This would be perfect. Is that the standard maid training in her world? But there won't be any compromises. If you can't accept my offer, then I will have to leave. She stood tall, trying to remain confident, but she quickly became nervous and like she regretted her ultimatum a little. At this point, it really looked like she just wanted to stay, but seemed too proud to just come out and say it herself. I sighed and looked at the clock. Oh shit, I'm gonna be late for work. Well, are you going to accept my offer? I can't pay you. Letting me live here and food is all I need. Yeah, but you don't have time to argue. Tell you what, I'll show you my skills as a maid while you're at work, and when you get home, you can decide then. Okay, here. I hurried over to my computer and turned it on. After it booted up, I loaded the internet and brought up a search engine showing her how the mouse works and what buttons on the screen did what. If you have any questions about stuff, you can find all the answers here, for the most part. Just word things carefully. Okay. Oh, what should I call you? Master? My lord? Or do you just prefer your name? Alright, here's where I get to enter my name for my character. Now, we've had a lot of names in past visual novels, and I want to try to think of something original. So, Mr. Nibbles. I don't know if that works. Very well. Now, hurry up and leave everything to me. She seemed in a big hurry to rush me out the door. You won't run away while I'm gone, right? No, go now. I quickly got ready and hurried out the door. Cynthia watched me head out with a big smile on her face and bowed. Have a good day, Mr. Nibbles. I'll be waiting for you when you get home. The door shut and I stood there for a second. Was I really going to just leave her here? I don't really have a choice, do I? I can't be late for my job, and technically, I have left her alone for 3 days already. It should be fine, right? Oh, please let all my furniture still be there when I get back. All right. Cynthia pressed her ear to the door and waited for the footsteps to fade before turning around and sitting down on the floor. Oh, Cynthia, what did you just agree to? You don't know anything about being a maid. I'm so stupid. But what other choice do I have? She brought her knees up to her chest and hugged them, her tail swaying back and forth slowly. How could I be so stupid to get caught? Just a quick peek, she had thought. Just a tiny look at her savior before she left. She got a look all right, and so did he. The first rule of the universe was not to let her true presence be known, and with one indulgent thought, she had broken that rule. Her mind drifted back to the bedroom where she had watched Mr. Nibble sleep. She blushed and giggled a bit as she remembered their sleeping face, but blushed even harder as she remembered another fact from that scene. Not only did Mr. Nibble see me, but I was naked too. She buried her face into the sweater so she could muffle a scream. Slowly sticking her face out of the sweater again, she watched her tail thump across the ground. I'm never going to be able to live that down, am I? Sitting was starting to feel uncomfortable as she became restless. She jumped to her feet and started walking around the apartment, hoping her blush would disappear. Okay, calm down. These things happen. We can't change that. Mr. Nibbles has just seen more of us than we would have liked. Yes. I'm doing a terrible job of convincing myself. She ran around the apartment a couple times before stopping out of breath. Okay, this is getting me nowhere. I need to focus, maid. I'm a maid now. Oh my god, I'm a maid now. I don't know how to be a maid. This isn't helping. How am I going to be a maid? She started looking around the apartment. Aside from being a mess, it was her first time really looking at it in her true form. When she had been in her fluffy form, it seemed so big, but now she could see how tiny the place really was. I'm glad it's a small place, so I won't have that much to manage, but is this how Mr. Nibbles lives? The tiny apartment was made smaller by the collection of various garbage scattered around and all of the clothes cast off everywhere. The more she looked at it, the more it felt like the walls were closing in around her. It's lonely around here, Mr. Nibbles had said. Her heart had melted upon hearing that, and as she stood in the middle of the apartment, she could understand where that feeling came from. What am I doing? This isn't right. This is what I wanted. I will pay back Mr. Nibbles' kindness, and even if I'm the worst maid in the history of maids, I won't stop working hard to make things right. She took a deep breath and smiled, pleased with finally getting her thoughts under control. She had chosen maid out of desperation, but maybe, just maybe, it would turn out to be the best decision she ever made. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this one, let me know by smacking that like button. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.